You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
This episode of Breaking Down the Ring is brought to you by Chawla Legal Group Estate Planning. Estate planning is for everyone. Whether you're worth $4,000 or $40 million, estate planning can help protect you, your family, and your assets while you're alive and well. Damn. To register for an upcoming workshop today, go to chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157. Again, that's chawlalegal.com/workshops or call 586-273-7157.
What the Rock is cooking.
Sunday fucking fun day. We're late, but we're here. Smitty is at the table. It's just me and him today, so all the Smitty's meets for me. Lots to talk about. There's always the recap business of Raw and Smackdown and NXT and AEW and NWA Power and fuck all that. There's also the travesty of a video game that we're going to be talking about. I don't know if Smitty's played it. I haven't, but I know a lot about the ridiculousness of that. So yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about today. There's no Mikey again, but so just, again, me and Smitty, all the Smitty's meets. And it's all here as we
break the ring down.
Woo! You don't know what hard times are, Daddy.
The cream will rise to the top. Oh, yeah.
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. You just made the list! This right here is a family.
Hey, this is professional wrestler and professional podcaster Colt Boom Boom Cabana.
My name is Killer Cross.
This is The Smoke Show, Scarlett Bordeaux.
What's up, guys? The After Machine, Brian Cage.
This is Ryan from Pro Wrestling Tees.
Sadly, you are not listening to The Art of Wrestling, but you made a decent choice because you're listening.
You are now listening to...
And you're listening
And you're listening to...
You listen to Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring.
Breaking Down the Ring. Bring it down.
Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
It is damn true. It's very damn true. So it's just me, and yeah, we're your downsized ring crew.
It's Stripper Man Smitty.
Wait, who is it again?
I'm Stripper Man Smitty today. It's the Pimp and Stripper Man.
Fuck, man, leaving me alone with the stripper. Not just the midget stripper, because he's always around, but Smitty.
Oh, you got sexual chocolate today.
And I am Nikki One Tit. For those of you that don't know, you'll figure it out someday. But yeah, we're here live. It's Sunday. We're getting used to the whole Sunday routine. Unfortunately, no Mikey. He is downtown working. At the Shillelagh
For the Lions game.
For the Lions game.
No Nazi.
He's going to be salting the rim of all your drinks with the tears of the Lions fans today. So if you get a chance, go down and check them out.
I actually think they could win today. It's the Giants. The Giants.
Yeah, I do too. No Nas, no Joe. So, I mean, but we got this. We'll be all right. I think we'll be all right.
It's just a regular two-man show.
So, we can go right into it, man. There is always a lot to talk about. It seems like there's more and more to talk about as the weeks go on. Now we have, again, Raw on Mondays. As of this Tuesday, we have a televised Impact show. We have AEW and NXT on Wednesdays. Oh, excuse me, I also skipped on Tuesday. I don't even know how I fucking forgot. NWA Power. And then Friday Night Smackdown.
Also AEW Dark.
AEW Dark.
It's on Tuesday as well.
There's a fucking pay-per-view this week for Crown Jewel.
Blood Money in the Sand.
Yeah, so there's a lot of wrestling every week, and I'll admit it's it's getting a little tough to keep up on it. I did the Cliff. We were talking about it before the show, and I did the Cliff Notes version, if you will, of NXT. But then I ended up watching it this morning before I came in. Smitty, what about you?
I had to condense down and kind of clip noted SmackDown this week, and then I tried watching it on my ride here, and I got to one point I was like, okay, I'm so glad I clip noted this.
And that's it's disheartening because I'm getting to the point, and I mentioned it on my Twitter last week, that I'm more into anything else other than WWE programming, with the exception of NXT, because NXT is still great.
Welcome to the dark side.
And I mean, you know, I do still get excited for Raw, because I don't think that's ever going to go away. But then I get into Raw, and I'm an hour into it, an hour and a half. I'm like, fuck, I just want to go to bed. And then I get built up again for SmackDown on Friday, because SmackDown lately has been pretty decent. And
Not this week.
Not this week. I got let down. And so now I'm looking forward to AEW, NXT, and NWA Power. I wanna say that I'm gonna watch Impact, but man, I'm already having a hard enough time as it is watching now for me 10 hours worth of wrestling between Monday and this show, and now you're gonna throw in a pay-per-view this weekend. Okay, it's fucking Crown Jewel, whatever. I'm still gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
I'll watch it later. I don't think I'm gonna watch it live.
No, I won't watch it live. It'll be trick or treating.
Yep, and I'll be at work, so.
So I'm definitely, and it's at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll be at work. But yeah, no, I won't watch it live, and I'll squeeze it in there somehow. But you know, it just,
that's what we do.
Most of that WWE programming is starting to become a chore. I'm just saying, it's becoming a chore again, with the exception of NXT. But
it was phenomenal. That triple threat for the North American title.
Yeah, we can start with NXT. I don't need to go in order. I don't need, you know what? We'll start up fucking on a high with NXT, and then we'll dip down and go into the regular Raw and SmackDown, and then we'll talk about Power and AEW and leave on a good note when we're doing these recaps. You know,
I like that idea.
Yeah. So again, I watched a Cliff Note version of NXT earlier in the week. I did watch it this morning, and it was a great show. It started off Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley. Can I just say I'm a Rhea Ripley fan?
Yeah, welcome for coming around, because I think I was the only one here that was consistently watching NXT UK at one point, and I still am, because last week Gallus took the NXT tag titles, UK tag titles, and I don't know if they were actually transitioning Rhea Ripley to the regular NXT, or she just doing a one-off for a shot at.
I'm pretty sure she's transitioned now, and I think that's a good thing, because her character and just her aura, she's a good worker. She's a fucking beast. I'm sorry, but I think she's hot.
Oh, she's an attractive young lady.
I'm just saying. I know some people have compared her to Pete Dunne, but fuck, man, $20 is $20.
Oh, but that's what I think they're doing with her. I think they're going to treat her like Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate, where she's going to bounce back and forth between both NXT brands.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I don't see them putting the title on her.
That was going to be my next question: is she going to be the one to finally take the title from Shayna Baszler?
I think Baszler's going to lose it, but not. She's going to lose it to another heel in some type of fatal four-way or triple threat type deal.
Okay, so now between Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley, they did open up NXT. They had a very good match. They worked really well together. It was very physical. It really kind of got out of that first gear after a while, and. Rhea Ripley's, she's kind of like, almost like a baby face. Like I feel heel.
Tweener.
Yeah, she's a tweener. There you go. I feel heel, but I get that baby face type because the crowd loves her.
Exactly. It's like how Pete Dunne was when Pete Dunne was UK champion.
Mm-hmm.
When they tried to build Pete Dunne as a heel, he got so over. You had no choice but to make him a tweener.
Yeah, and you still get that impression from him. Rhea Ripley did end up getting. I'll get to that. What I mean by that. Rhea Ripley did end up getting the win over not Shayna Baszler.
Bianca Belair.
Bianca Belair.
Mrs. Montez Ford.
It was a really good match. She got a clean win. Aside from, we did have an interference from Io Shirai. Candice LeRae. They tried to get involved with, mostly Io Shirai. Candice LeRae was pretty much having Rhea Ripley's back at that point. But it didn't end up working out. So Rhea Ripley got the victory. Io Shirai tried to, what'd she do? She kicked her in the face, I think, something like that.
No, she was on the ring apron before Candice LeRae pulled her off.
Well, but what did she do to Rhea? I just watched it too. I'm trying to remember.
Well, I think she grabbed Rhea when the referee was reprimanding her.
Yeah.
That's when Candice came out.
So, is this going to set up a one-on-one with Ripley and Baszler, or are we going to see a three-way? Are we going to see a four-way? Maybe even a fatal five-way?
I think we either see a 5 or 6-pack challenge, or we see a fatal 4-way.
Mm-hmm.
At the minimum.
Yep, and then that's going to be at the next takeover next month before Survivor Series.
War Games?
Yeah.
I actually think they're going to do something different with that. I don't think you see the women's title defended. I think you see a War Games match with the women.
I'll take that. I'll definitely take that.
Because the way they're kind of building these women right now, so you're building Ripley, you're rebuilding Belair, you're using Candice LeRae, you're using Io Shirai, Baszler is involved. You see Marina Shafir and Jessamine Duke in action this week. So I do think they may set up something for an actual War Games match.
Yeah, and I like that because the bottom line is the NXT women's division, to me, is one of the hottest things going for WWE right now. I mean, they've got a lot of strong women that are doing really good things in the ring. It seems like that's one of the hottest things going for this company right now, and it's a good thing. Speaking of that, the fact that they are one of the hottest things going right now, I did read that they are going to be doing a all women's NXT event. That's going to be coming up in December, I believe it is. I thought I had notes on it, but and it's going to be a house show. It's not going to be anything like Evolution or pay-per-view or anything like that. It's going to be an NXT house show, but it's going to be encompassing all the NXT women. So they're definitely making some good strides for that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just thinking about the NXT women's roster. Like, you got to return Dakota Kai and Tegan Knox.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. NXT December 5th in Jacksonville will be a female-exclusive event. Shayna Baszler seemed pretty pumped about making the announcement. So I think it's something that it's going to really benefit these women and really push them forward. Even if it is a house show, maybe it'll be one of those things that WWE kind of, it'll be exclusive on the network. Or
they'll test the water before they do something big with it.
Yeah. Okay, so back to the next thing. We had a segment with Pete Dunne and
Tyler
Bate, and I'd mentioned a few minutes ago that I still get that heel feeling from Pete Dunne, and that was the reason why I said that, because his demeanor and I like Pete Dunne though.
His character, it seems kind of heelish, but the people love him.
So it looks like that could be setting up a match maybe with Killian Dane, or what the fuck's that Damian Priest.
Damian Priest, Damian Priest already beat him last week, I think it was.
Yeah, so, I like where that's going. Moving on from that, we did have Riddle versus Grimes.
Which was actually really good.
Really good match. Really physical. Matt Riddle ended up getting the win clean.
Also like the fact that Riddle trolled the shit out of fucking Goldberg by using that jackhammer.
That, and then the crowd was chanting Riddle.
Yeah.
Riddle. And Mario Ranallo even made reference to that. The fact that it sounded similar to another wrestler's name, and Mamma Mia, and fuck. So, I don't know. I liked that match a lot. I didn't really like Grimes at first.
He's growing on you.
He's growing on me a little bit because he's a really good worker. I'm not a big fan of his character, but he works really good in the ring. And I don't think that loss to Riddle is going to really hurt him at all.
No, I think the match in general kind of up the stock of Cameron Grimes.
Yeah.
He's had some kind of questionable matches since the breakout tournament. But this is like the first match you've seen him in since the breakout tournament. It goes like, okay, Grimes can go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. The next thing we had was the Fashion Police and the Forgotten Sons, and it was supposed to be Kushida teaming up with the Fashion Police, but apparently he's got a broken wrist. So they introduced Isaiah Scott.
A swerve.
The Swerve.
Whose house?
He came into the mix, and that dude can work too, man. And that match, actually, again, another match that was pretty solid. It wasn't great, but it was good. Forgotten Sons, they're solid. And I didn't realize how, I don't want to say how good, but Breezango is solid. They're a solid team.
Oh man, they're a great team. They're entertaining. They're both great. They're both great on the mic. They're both super athletic in the ring. And Fandango was just gotten like since he come back from his injury, it seemed like he's gotten better.
Yeah.
We like Tyler Breeze is back in his element. He's not being used like I think Tyler Breeze was at his best at his first NXT run, and I think he's starting to get some of that momentum back. And then this was a great run for Scott as well, just to be in the ring with those five guys.
Well, it's nice that he's not just like another dude, like another 205 guy, you know. And I for Breezango, I think this is a good place for them. I don't think they necessarily fit on the main roster. I don't even know if you want to call it the main roster anymore, but
they were a good fit on the main roster. They just weren't utilized on the main roster.
Yeah, I don't know. For me, I don't think it worked. I think it's just because there's so much on the main roster. There's so many different angles and different gimmicks and characters that they just get lost in the shuffle, you know?
The Fashion Files was one of the most popular segments.
When
they were on SmackDown.
And it sucks because then it just fucking died. And
because they went to Raw.
Right.
When they went to Raw, you just kind of killed everything they had going. And then Fandango got hurt.
So I do like that they're being featured more on NXT in some really solid matches. We also had a number one contender match between the number one contender match for the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. They're introducing those titles on NXT like they said they were going to a while ago. They're going to be putting them on all the brands. So you have the champions, the Kabuki Warriors with
Asuka and Kairi Sane.
Yep. And so
Joshi.
There was a number one contender match with Jessamine Duke and Maria Shafir. They fought Dakota Kai and Tegan Nox. And Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai got the win. I'm not a fan of Shafir and Duke in any capacity.
Greener than cow turds.
It stinks. I mean...
And I think that's the only reason Shayna Baszler is still in NXT right now, because they need her.
Yeah, because once Shayna dips, they're done. They have no fucking personality. They're just a couple of henchwomen there to pick up the scraps, like the fucking hyenas in the goddamn Lion King. If you ask me, they're just fucking, I mean. I don't care for them at all. I didn't expect them to win this match, and I'm glad they didn't because that would have bored me to death with the Kabuki Warriors versus these two fucks. So
I'm still waiting for that translation for that damn promo they took cut afterwards.
You talking about on Raw?
No,
or this past
on
one?
NXT.
Yeah,
because apparently they like to drop S-bombs and F-bombs in Japanese.
Yeah, and for those that don't know, when they dropped their promo on Raw, it was Kairi Sane that said, "I'm going to beat the shit out of you."
Yeah.
In Japanese, Mandarin, Chinese, whatever.
Japanese.
Yeah, thank you. Not trying to offend anybody with that. Just
Yeah, Asians come from white as you to black as me.
Then afterwards, we did have our main event with Roderick Strong as the NXT United States Champion, defending against Dominik Dijakovic and Keith Lee. Fantastic match.
Holy shit. Let's just say this. Keith Lee and Dominik Dijakovic are going to go places.
Yes.
Say Roderick Strong. I figured that Roderick Strong was just going to be there, but he pulled his way throughout that match as well.
One, like the thing of it, you look at Keith Lee, and he's a bigger dude, and you don't expect him to pull off some of the moves that he does. But there was one spot in the match where he pulled a Finn Balor.
Oh, top rope on Hilo.
Yeah, man, and I was like, holy shit, as well as the rest of the crowd. They just couldn't fucking believe that dude, and it was clean. He
cleared that top
yes.
rope, no sweat,
and he hit it too. I mean, Dominic Dijakovic didn't.
He was in this right spot, and
yep.
it didn't look like he tried to catch him. It looked like he actually hit him with all 340 something pounds.
Yep, and then at another point, Keith Lee was set to powerbomb Dominic Dijakovic, who was set to suplex Roderick Strong off the top rope. And they held that move for a second or so.
Yeah, that Tower of Death.
Yeah, that was great. Another really good match. Now, Roderick Strong, clean win, pinning down. Was it Dominic Dijakovic that he pinned?
He pinned Dijakovic.
Yeah, okay. And then we had the Undisputed Era come out, a little bit of celebration, and then, excuse me, then proceed to beat the ever-living fuck out of Keith Lee.
And then from there, the one thing that shocked the world was
Daddy's home.
Yeah, Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano come out.
Yep.
And then Finn Balor comes out.
It seemed to be that he was there to back
even
up.
odds.
Yes, even the odds. It was still a 4-on-3 situation. And then he pulls his jacket off and
one of the most prettiest Pele kicks I've seen in a while.
Yeah. Right, because it was out of nowhere. I mean, he
was mid-jacket when he hit that Pele.
He didn't turn around. He didn't nothing. He just flipped back and fucking kicked Gargano right in the mouth. Do you like the fact that it looks like we've got a heel Finn Balor on NXT?
Yes, because I was first introduced to Finn Balor in New Japan as a heel. See,
I've never known him to be a heel.
So, you know about the Bullet Club?
I know that he was, and I know of that. But
he's the founder.
To me, I've never seen it.
Yeah. So that's why I was kind of excited to see it, because this is the Finn Balor I was introduced to when I was first introduced to Fergal Devitt.
Yeah.
Or Perkins Devitt.
And so to have him in NXT, do you think that I don't necessarily think so, but are we going to see him join forces with the Undisputed Era? Maybe align himself with them?
No, not unless he's taking over. But you can't really. You don't need He doesn't need to take over. Adam Cole's the perfect leader for the Undisputed Era.
Yes, I can see himself.
I can see him as his own solo heel.
In cahoots with them, but yeah, I like him as a solo heel.
I think this is just gonna be a solo kind of heel thing for just him to start a feud with Gargano.
Yeah,
because Gargano's pretty much kind of the face of NXT, and Balor was the face of NXT for a long time. So,
yep. And you're gonna have Ciampa feuding with Adam Cole for that title.
And maybe that's what you see at War Games. You got Undisputed Era with Balor. If you just want to do a quick cahoots thing,
yeah.
You got Ciampa, and the only thing I would say will be missing is who's feuding with O'Reilly and Fish.
Yeah. So, do we have the potential to see 2 War Games matches?
I would love to see 2 War Games matches, especially that women's one that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see something like that. I think that'd be pretty fucking cool. So, yeah. If you missed NXT, now you know what happened. Go back and watch it. It was a really good show. That's most of the reason why I watched it, is because I watched the Cliff Notes before. I'm like, I gotta watch this.
See, Balor's heel turn was something just one reason to watch it. And that North American title match.
I don't think anybody really expected that, outside of like people maybe like you that that Finn Balor's been heel in the previous lifetime, and he's got the potential. So.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, we did have a Monday Night Raw this week. I'm not going to talk about it for too long. It wasn't really anything special. Ric Flair announced Drew McIntyre as the final member of Team Flair for their match against Team Hogan at Crown Jewel. Then he ended up going on to defeat Ricochet in a one-on-one match. The match was okay. I mean, it wasn't anything to write home about, but it was all right. Ricochet, anytime Ricochet's in the ring, for me, it's going to be a decent match. So
it's entertaining, to say the least.
Yeah. Aleister Black was in another squash match this week. I got to say, and I might be of the minority in this, I'm not happy with what they're doing with his character. It seems like it's just another case of them bringing up a solid NXT guy, and a lot of times they won't even let them get off the ground, EC3. But in this case, he was tagging with Ricochet, and I'm not saying that I expected them to continue that storyline, but once that ended...
Once they split him up?
You had him in the back, somebody knock on my door,
I'm looking
pull down my fucking pants, whatever. And then he disappeared for a little while. He had that match with Cesaro, which was a good match. But then you haven't used him, and now he's squashing dudes. And why is he squashing guys when he's already fought fucking guys of the caliber of Cesaro? And now you're having him in these squash matches.
The same reason you did everything you did with the Viking Raiders, so you put those titles on them.
Well, I guess on some level, I sort of understand with the Viking Raiders because they came into Raw in squash matches. So they built them up. Now you brought him down to me, and I could,
you're right. I believe that you are correct in this aspect, because you're right. So, like, he would knock on my door when he's on SmackDown. Had a couple good matches with some high caliber talent. As soon as he goes to Raw, you put him on these squash matches.
Right.
Even with Eric Young, and I love Eric Young as a competitor.
Mm-hmm.
And his first match on Raw was against Eric, a really misused Eric Young.
Yeah, and he's still being misused. To me, having him in a match against Aleister Black like that to essentially get squashed, I didn't like that for his character either. It really sucks that they overload.
He went to work and did his job.
Yeah, and they're overloading these rosters with these guys that are really talented, and they're just beating them down.
I tell people, I really feel like Raw got the better part of the draft.
Mm-hmm.
You guys say you think SmackDown, and I'm like,
yeah,
I think Raw got the better part of the draft. They got a lot of the more younger talent.
Mm-hmm.
They got the up and comers in the company, and they got a way better women's division in mid card.
I hope you're right. I really do, because I would like to see that younger talent, these guys, get utilized in a better fashion. We had the King's Court with Rusev, and Rusev is...
Oh, the cuck angle.
Huh?
The cuck angle.
A little cucking.
Yeah.
He's trying to play it off like he's going to forgive Lana, and if she ever came back to him, and he thinks she will, and then
she getting blacked. She cool.
She ain't going back. Then they showed Lashley and Lana in a restaurant that Rusev never took her to, and
this was my dream. That's your dream. You have some sorry ass dreams, lady.
Yeah, that didn't look like. Yeah, it was a dream of mine to go to this restaurant. Really, it didn't look like anything fancy. Then he ended up going down to the restaurant later on in the night, as to be expected, and tried to fight Bobby Lashley, and
he gets arrested.
Yeah, allegedly he was arrested, according to WWE.com.
Yeah, and Lashley and Lana did not press charges.
Nope, they did not. So we'll see where that leads. I'm not a fan of this storyline. I think it was kind of funny at first, but to me it's just cheesy. Dare I say tickle butt?
Tickle cuck.
Tickle cuck?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. And,
it's a dumb angle. I said it when it first started.
I mean, if I'm Rusev, you'd have had to pay me a lot of money, and I couldn't even tell you.
Have another man kissing on my wife.
Yep. Like, if you want to have him hug her or put his arm around her or carry her or whatever, kiss her on the cheek, but the minute that type of shit happens and then you're in bed and supposedly she's naked, rubbing on her, massaging, fuck you. Fuck off. Not a chance.
Do you think it's just worse than what they did with Michael Kanellis, or is it just as bad?
I'm not too familiar with that, because that might have been during my
the Kanellis thing. When
with the pregnancy?
Yeah.
That's worse. Yeah.
I said Bennett because like he's Mike Bennett everywhere else. He became Mike Kanellis when he got to WWE.
I feel bad for Mike Bennett, but coming from a dude that's been in a stable relationship for, over a decade now, that Rusev shit, it's way worse.
Kanellis got demasculated. Rusev is just getting his whole marriage is just being humiliated on television.
We did have the Viking Raiders and Hawkins and Ryder. Both of those teams are in the big tag match at
the world's largest tag team turmoil.
Yeah, so they're both in there. So I guess I get why they did it because they're both competing in that match. However, the match was dumb. Killing time.
I think it was them trying to say, we care about our tag. We're pretending to care about tag teams.
Pretending, yes. It just didn't do anything for me. Seth Rollins and Humberto Carrillo.
Best match of the night.
It was. It really was. And I'm not a fan of Humberto yet, but he can work in the ring. He's solid.
I watched him on 205. That's one of those. He's one of those guys I didn't see when he got drafted. I remember Mikey said something about him being in a draft pool.
Yeah.
But I figured he would have been one of those guys that somebody picked up on a free agency. Mm-hmm. When he actually got picked up on Raw, that surprised me.
So he was drafted?
Yes, he was drafted on Raw. Looking like a Power Ranger.
I was going to say the memes that were going around about him with the Power Ranger.
I think I put one on our page. I want to say, well, you got a match at 9, and you have to save Angel Grove at 8:45 in the morning from Rita Repulsa.
Who was that? Zordon, the dude with the green face that was in like that tube.
The tube, yeah.
I saw another one where he was standing there and Zordon was on the TV screen behind him, and he was looking. I should have posted that one, but so yeah, that was a good match.
And Jason David Frank actually replied to some of those memes. For the guy who played Tommy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he replied to some of the memes.
Then the next match that we had was the main event, Street Profits versus the OC. Can I just say, I like the Street Profits a lot. I really do.
I think they have so much potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm scared about what WWE's going to do with them on Raw.
I really enjoyed their promos. I enjoyed their antics backstage with hyping up certain elements of the show. Montez Ford is fucking hilarious. His character, while over the top, it seems like that's him. I don't feel like it's coming from somewhere that they're making him
pretend
to be something he's not. Same thing for both of them.
Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah. The one thing I was disappointed with this is that they were hyping up a mystery partner, and they came out by themselves. No mystery partner for the whole match.
I do enjoy the way that they interact with the crowd before and after a match.
Yeah.
How long do you think that's going to last?
I think they'll keep it going. I think maybe I should use the word hope. I hope they keep it going because the crowd's into it. They're really over, and it can only really go up from there.
We're going to see some more red Solo cups in the stand.
Fuck yeah, man. Let's do it. I like it.
And the entrance music is catchy.
KO as their quote-unquote mystery partner. I thought that was cool, but I would have liked to have seen that actually as a partner.
As like someone come out there to the ring with them, or at least after them.
Right, and be involved in the match. Instead, he took out AJ Styles during the match, which, obviously we're thinking that's going to lead to KO and AJ Styles, which I must have forgot.
The US Championship.
I must have forgot because these two were feuding a couple of years ago in the summer of 2017, and that wasn't really accepted by many WWE fans as something that was over, if you will.
It wasn't over because it seemed like they were forced to work that WWE style.
Yeah,
where these two, when they were in Ring of Honor, they tore the house down.
Okay,
at Kevin Steen and AJ Styles.
Well, if that's the way they're going,
I think they're just trying to do a take two on this.
Yeah,
if anything.
But the Street Profits did end up going over the OC in this one.
Let's pretend to care about tag teams.
Yep, another match. But I was invested in the match, nonetheless.
I was invested in the match in general. I think more people were more invested, like, who the hell are the Street Profits talking about coming out for with them?
Right.
I don't think you were really invested in the match. I think you were more invested in the who's it going to be.
Yeah. Somebody on Twitter had said RVD because they kept, we want the smoke. And but no.
Our RVD is a heel in Impact right now.
Yeah.
Which that was fucking phenomenal.
Okay, so let's talk about that, and you're gonna really have to take the lead on this one because Smitty is one of our Impact fucking experts over here. We had Bound for Glory last Sunday. Impact's going live. I don't know if they're live.
They're not live, no. They're recorded.
They're gonna have
they have a televised show starting
weekly,
this Tuesday.
Tell us a little bit about Bound for Glory. Give us a quick synopsis.
Oh, great show. First match was a unique match called the Pick Your Shot Gauntlet. It's pretty much like a 20-man battle royale, over the top battle royal. But when it came down to the last two, it became a 1-on-1. And Eddie Edwards, if you know anything about Eddie Edwards, is a really decorated wrestler. He's been pretty much a Grand Slam champion at an Impact. He was a Grand Slam champion with Ring of Honor, where he's won tag gold, the television title, and the world title. And in Ring of Honor, he's also won tag gold with the American Wolves and Impact, been an X Division champion and an Impact World Champion. So Triple Crown. I wouldn't say Grand Slam. So he won that, and he has opportunity to pick any champion within the company to take a shot at the title, at their title.
That night?
No, not that night.
Okay.
In time of the shoes. Yes.
Gotcha.
The second match that came on was the Knockouts, which is the women's division champion, Knockouts championship match with Taya Valkyrie and Tenille Dashwood. Tenille Dashwood, formerly known as Emma, in WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And Taya Valkyrie was in Lucha Underground, and she's also married to John Morrison.
Okay.
She won her match via pinfall, thanks to a lot of interference from her manager, whose name is John E. Bravo.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Okay.
Serious heart attack.
Does he have blonde hair and sunglasses?
Sunglasses, no blonde hair.
Okay.
So she won her match. The next match on the card was the tag team title match, which was the team of All Ego Ethan Page and the Walking Weapon Josh Alexander versus RVD and Rhino and Rich Swan, and it was a triple threat, and Rich Swan and Willie Mack were in the other corner. That match ended with the North retaining their championships after RVD turns heel, and RVD has not been a heel in over almost 20 years.
RVD turned heel.
RVD turned heel.
Oh shit.
Super kicked Rhino, super kicked Swan, super kicks Willie Mack, and the North take advantage of Swan and retain their titles.
So now is RVD at a work rate like he used to be? Like, is he still?
The whole crowd was like RVD and Rhino looked like they didn't miss a step, and it just shows how misused they were.
Wow.
Previously.
Okay.
Like, he's still hitting split-legged moonsaults, rolling thunder with no problems, and and Rhino's still a goddamn powerhouse.
Yeah.
And is on a night where they cut a decent promo before the match too. The match after that was Pro Wrestling Noah's Marufuji versus Unbreakable Michael Elgin.
Mm-hmm.
And they wrestled a true, like, strong style New Japan Noah wrestling match where it starts off slow, it's hard hitting, and then it just picks up, and they invested you into it.
Yeah.
Mike Elgin goes over in that match. The next match after that was the X Division 5-way ladder match, which had AC Romero, who's a fucking 400-pound beast.
Ace Romero?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's AC Romero.
AC Romero.
And he changed his name after he signed his deal for Impact.
I've seen a picture of him. I've never seen him wrestle, but that's a big motherfucker. He reminds me of like Bastion Booger with his body type.
No, if Bastion Booger could dive through the ropes and jump and take a table bump off the top of a ladder, Yeah, Bash and Booger.
Yeah. Okay.
So you had AC Romero, Ace Austin, who's also in a feud with Eddie Edwards, which made which at the end of this match makes a lot more sense because of the angle he's in with Eddie Edwards and his wife. So yeah, AC Romero, Ace Austin, Daga, who's was one of the newer signings for Impact.
You guys
AAA.
were talking about him last week about how good he is.
Yeah, Daga's amazing.
Yeah.
And so yeah, those I just named 3. Then you had the champion who from OVE who was Jake Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the last person was Tessa Blanchard. I don't know why I blanked on her name for like a second. So
4 dudes and a chick.
Yeah.
Damn.
And
that intergender shit.
That's one thing I love about Impact right now. In the pick your shot battle royale, gauntlet, you had 5 out of 20 people, 25% of them were women.
Yeah.
You had Jessica Havoc, you had Rosemary, you had Jordan Grace, you had Kiera Hogan, and you had Kylie Ray. Also, Joy Ryan made a surprise, and Hornswoggle made surprise appearances within that battle royal as well.
So, who ended up going over in that X division?
The X division, Ace Austin became your new X division champion.
Oh shit!
And that goes into a storyline that's going on between, and that kind of furthers and elevates the feud that he has with Eddie Edwards right now, where Ace Austin's whole thing is like, I'm going to sleep with your wife. Oh, no, they were trying to pull a Cook angle, but they're pulling it way better than WWE is.
Yeah, okay.
Ace Austin is literally trying to sleep with Eddie Edwards' wife, and he's playing the I'm your best friend angle with her. And Eddie Edwards is already his character's like, oh, I'm a crazy guy out of the Boston. My best friend is a kendo stick named Kenny.
Okay. What else you got?
So after that we had the one match that I really it was an all right match, but it was kind of too gimmicky. But I understand why they would be too gimmicky. You had a 55-year-old Ken Shamrock who looks phenomenal versus Moose. Moose goes over, which that was like that's another thing I like about Impact. They actually are having proper use out of these veterans and legends.
Yeah.
It's not like Shamrock looks like you can tell he's not been inside of a wrestling ring in a while.
Sure. I did see him, a couple pictures or whatever. Yeah, he still looks fucking jacked as he could be for being 55.
Oh, I watched Ken Shamrock jump over the top rope. And that's like 55-year-old Ken Shamrock, and Moose wasn't there, he would have broke his own fucking neck.
Yeah, shit. What about, what was the main event?
The main event was, what was next was Sami Callihan of OVE versus the Machine Brian Cage, who's the Impact World Champion, in a no disqualification match.
Okay.
There were some sick bumps there. It's the first Don Callis, who's on commentary with Josh Matthews. He dropped the S-bomb right at the opening gates of there.
Oh, really?
Because Brian Cage goes and bites Sami Callihan, and you hear, "Oh shit, he bit him! He bit him!" And Brian Cage comes out like Weapon X Wolverine, like his intro. He takes the claw after that he came out with and proceeds to slice Sami Callihan's head open.
I think Joe had commented on that in one of the groups. There's an image of that, and it looked like they were really coming out of his fucking hand.
He came out with the claws. He had him at the side of the ring. And the story that built into this, Sami Callihan, like Brian Cage has been injured for the better part of almost 4 or 5 months. And this is his first match back, apparently being completely healthy, even though he's kind of been back for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But this is like his first match being back completely healthy. And the building to the storyline, pretty much Sami Callihan was like, you've been a novelty champion. I mean, a novelty or attraction champion, taking shots at guys like Lesnar. And then he said, while I'm out here busting my ass and becoming a number 1 contender, you're sitting at home with your beautiful wife, Melissa Santos, who they brought into the story. And pretty much Cage is just like became this raging beast because they had this whole wedding angle. Wedding goes off without, wedding didn't go off without a hitch. It's a wrestling wedding.
Yeah.
Once again, that wrestling wedding also fed into the Ace Austin, Eddie Edwards feud.
So who ended up going over in that main event?
Brian Cage went over.
Okay.
I just was a little bit upset with the way the finish went because they did all these sick, crazy, like death match type bumps,
Mm-hmm.
and in the end, pretty much Cage takes a hit on thumbtacks and pulls like a ultimate Hulk Hogan type Hulk up move.
Really?
To where he kind of hulks up on him and hits him with a huge power bomb, and his finishing move was called the drill claw, which is kind of like a modified Michinoku driver. He has both of those on the thumbtacks and pins Callahan.
Overall, it was a good pay-per-view, though.
Oh, good pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Great pay-per-view. Like, it was just there were 2 or 3 things that I just didn't care for.
Yeah.
I didn't care for the finish of the main event. I thought the main event was all right. I thought the Ken Shamrock Moose match was all right. And I just didn't like Josh Matthews channeling his inner Michael Cole whenever a former WWE guy was in the ring.
Yeah.
Whenever Rich Swann would hit a certain move, classic Swann, or when Tenille Dashwood was against Ty Valkyrie, he kept using the word vintage, and I'm like, okay, you're really channeling your Michael Cole at this point. Classic or vintage RVD or vintage Rhino, classic Rhino.
That's a little odd. Well, for those of you, again, interested in any of that, to definitely check out on Access TV this week, Tuesday night. Impact will be making their official television debut. Again, it won't be live. It's going to be, pre-recorded, but their episodic TV run on a little bit more of a mainstream channel begins this week.
I think Ace Romero has a match. If you want to see something interesting, something cool, watch Impact. I believe AC Romero does have a match on this Tuesday on Access.
Okay.
Watch a 400-pound guy fly. Also, Tessa Blanchard took a hell of a bump off the top of a ladder where AC Romero, a 400-pound guy, Samoan dropped her off the top from a ladder.
Really? Shit. And that was in the X Division match?
Yeah, that was in the X Division ladder match. And also, Tessa Blanchard throws Ace Romero off a ladder through a table.
Jesus Christ. So, I'll definitely be trying to watch Impact on Tuesday, additionally, with all the other fucking wrestling we watch. Speaking of that, we did have Smackdown on Friday. Another...
I like this up-down thing we're doing here.
Yeah, well, and another snooze fest for me, honestly. You had Miz TV at the beginning with Hogan and Flair, and the majority of their teams were out there. One thing that I did think was pretty funny, and some people are criticizing Ric Flair and his mic ability at this age and whatever, and I get it, but there's been a few comments that he's made are fucking cracking me up. Like, he's out there talking, and he's like, "Get really tired of looking at you, Roman," and just some of the shit that he says, it's funny to me, and
I think it's Flair Flair was trying too hard to be a heel. But at this point in his career, he can never, ever be a heel again.
Well, and he's looking like he's going to fucking explode. When he gets really intense like that, I feel like his face is going to blow up.
I saw the Miz TV segment. I'm like, I really feel like he's just trying too hard to be a heel.
Yeah.
But he'll never, ever be a heel again.
Right. But, I mean, what other roles?
Hogan's more of a heel than he'll ever be.
But, to this WWE crowd, Hulkamania, he has no choice. You know what I mean? He's got no choice but to play the heel. And I can't say that I'm looking forward to this match at all, Team Flair versus Team Hogan.
Roman wins, LOL.
I mean, it's just another fucking match on the card for this Thursday.
Let's pretend to care about tag teams.
Yeah. Well, in a Survivor Series match.
No, it's not Survivor Series. That was one fall to a finish. Oh,
it is one fall. Okay, so it's not elimination. Okay. I can get
unless they change it at the last minute.
Yeah. Who fucking knows. New Day, Kofi Kingston, and Big E against Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Match ended pretty abruptly with, I think it was Dolph that got the pin.
Yeah, Dolph pinned E.
And then Heavy Machinery came out to kind of save the day because shit just started getting out of control.
And Xavier's out for pretty much for a year with an ankle injury.
Yeah, Xavier
tore up his whole ankle.
Yep, his Achilles.
Yeah.
And, he's going to be out for the better part of the year. I've been reading a couple different things about that, Booker T had made mention that he really feels like that could be his.
That would end his career.
Yeah,
At least
could
end
be
ring
done.
career at least.
Yeah. Renee had made mention that he can always come on, on their show.
Backstage.
I don't know if it's necessarily the end of his career. I mean, I've seen plenty of athletes with similar injuries that may be even worse in sports like hockey, football.
Look at Tommaso Ciampa's his neck, his back,
Right.
and his knee within a year.
And Xavier is he's a solid athlete.
He's not very injury prone either. I think this
Right.
is what his first major injury in his career.
Well, he's not like a bigger dude. Like, he's beefy, but he's not like 6'4", 300-pound guy who seemed to be more injury prone than, I wouldn't say he's a little dude, but I have no doubt.
He's an average
in my
size
mind.
dude. He's maybe 6'1".
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that he'll be back. But this leads me to, could this be the beginning of the end for the New Day?
Possibly, because I think this is just the one excuse you need to break off Kofi and Big E. Yeah, I think, honestly, without Xavier Woods, they're a trio.
Yes.
When one's gone, they kind of lose the lore of what the New Day is.
Yep. They each bring their own piece to the puzzle.
We talk about how we would love to see E in singles competition. Kofi just came down from that historic championship run, and let's be honest, I know I want to see him back at the top at some point.
Yeah.
At the top of the card, even if he's just competing for that championship again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just, it seems like it could be a catalyst for the end of the New Day.
I think so too. I agree. But the only thing is, if it is, that sucks for Xavier. I don't know if he can survive as a singles competitor.
I think he could thrive in the mid card.
Yeah.
And that's if they don't shorty GM.
I don't think they would shorty GM. Just what do you do with his character? Like, I don't know.
He found his niche in the New Day, and he's probably like, what is it? He's actually more of the mouthpiece of the New Day, if anything.
Yeah. Well, and he's great on the mic. He's very articulate. He's a very smart guy. Not to say that anyone else isn't. But I don't know. I do kind of feel for the guy that this happened to him, and because the New Day are one of the most over teams and things in the WWE.
They're one of the best things in the WWE.
Yeah.
And they're one of the most consistent things in the WWE. And we talk about how inconsistent WWE is on a regular basis.
So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously we hope.
But also, part of me said it was not going to break up the New Day because the New Day is one of your biggest merch sellers.
Right. That's why I'm just questioning it. I don't know if it necessarily will. Do I think it will? Long term, no. I don't. I think they can keep it on the back burner long enough.
I think we won't see as much New Day.
Right. Next was Lacey Evans versus local competitor Cameron Connors. Go ahead.
That goes back to your whole Aleister Black thing. She was just in a huge feud with Natalya, and also right before that, feuding for the Raw Women's Championship, you send the jobbers at her.
Yeah, and they were pushing her hard, for a while. And then now all of a sudden she's out there giving the women's right to this, this essentially a nobody chick.
Local competitor.
Right, local competitor that no one else cares about. I'm sorry. And she comes in and knocks her out, and I don't really give a shit. Why are you dragging her down, like you said, just like Aleister Black, and putting her in these squash matches? Okay, if you don't have something for her.
And this is somebody who 3 months ago was feuding for the Raw Women's title.
Exactly. And now she's fighting a jobber. Fuck off.
Which that makes it worse than Black's situation.
Yeah, I agree. Because Aleister, as far as the quote-unquote main roster now, he's never had a title shot like that. So
Lacey Evans was at the top of the card every week. About 3 months ago, right?
Yeah, well, because it was wasn't it Extreme Rules, where it was her and Corbin versus Becky and Seth. We also had Drew Gulak versus Kalisto, another character that I don't like what they're doing with Gulak. I liked where he was.
No, I like it because this is what got him over originally in 205 with the whole PowerPoint presentation thing.
Yeah, but now you've got him on SmackDown doing this PowerPoint thing. I just don't see people really giving a shit about him and his character at that point. I really don't.
Like, it's going to run its course, and hopefully they go back to what he was just doing in 205 when he was just a no-nonsense grappler.
Yeah, and that worked. That was his matches were solid, and against Kalisto, I don't know, it was okay, but
Kalisto's out there to do the job.
Well, then you had Braun come out and squash Drew Gulak again. I don't know. I was bored. Again, big fucking deal. Braun showing his strength. Look what I can do.
I can toss a guy that's 205 pounds halfway across the ring. Yeah.
They did show a little video from the training center where Braun and Tyson Fury, they bumped into each other, and he fucking knocked Tyson Fury to the ground. And I don't know. I have no interest in that match at all. I'm sorry.
We getting A-Rab money.
By that comment, I kind of feel like you don't either. So, Nikki Cross defeated Mandy Rose. She is on her way to a match with Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
There's no A-Rab money in that one.
Nope.
Because women can't perform over there.
No women over there.
Are they gay?
I don't know. I know they had an issue. They showed a video package at one of the events on the video board there, and they fucking threw a hissy fit.
They threw a hissy fit because women were on there, and they were in their ring gear, which exposed their skin.
I do like where Nikki's going. I don't think she's obviously going to take the title off Bayley, but it is nice to see them pushing her without the help of Alexa Bliss.
Well, I think me and Mike were at work talking about the whole Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross thing being drafted together. After they lost those titles, that's when you should have split them up.
Yeah.
Just a way. It's the same way I feel about Dolph and Dolph and Robert Roode.
Right.
When their title run was over, because they were pretty much a makeshift tag team to start off with, split them.
Yeah.
They're all talented individuals. Not if you have no reason to keep them together, don't.
Right.
It seems like they're slowly weaning Cross off.
Yeah.
And I will have to give kudos to Mandy Rose because this is probably the best match she probably did.
Yeah, she did look pretty solid.
Mandy Rose, I've never been a fan of Mandy Rose, but she actually put on a solid match, one-on-one.
Yeah, she's getting better. Next thing we had was the Brock Lesnar. He was supposed to come down and get face-to-face with Shane Valentino.
Cain Velasquez.
Cain Velasquez. Cain. Cocaína.
No, that's how the way Ray said it.
Oh,
Cain.
Yeah. So, this whole thing, they showed Brock Lesnar in the back on the monitor with Dominic, and he took him out again, and I don't really mind. I like that angle. I can deal with that, and then Brock coming into the training area to attack all three of them. That's fine, but I don't like that there's no character development for Cain.
He's Dominic's godfather, and Rey Mysterio is his Paul Heyman.
Well, and I guess you can look at it from that perspective where, like, Brock is just a dude, and here's fucking Paul Heyman speaking for him, whereas you got Ray speaking for Kane because he can't fucking speak English, or whatever the case may be. But
he can. He just can't cut a promo yet.
No. And, he yelled a couple things in Spanish at the mic, and, he's all pissed off. But overall, I think it's okay. I don't mind this angle as much, bringing in a UFC fighter as opposed to the Tyson Fury and Braun Strowman angle, which I really could give two shits about.
Well,
this one's okay.
It's literally all attraction.
Yeah, this one's okay, though. I don't mind it. Do I think they're going to take the strap off Brock? Fuck no. But
I would. The funny thing is, I would. I don't know if I'd be surprised if they did or if they didn't. Damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Yeah, I guess you never know.
Because like this whole Fox deal, they want a sports angle.
Yeah.
the one person that beats the first person who truly beats the shit out of Brock Lesnar in the UFC, to take the title off him, take a second title off of him.
Well, and that does make me think that they had made mention, Fox executives and some articles that I had read, that they're obviously going to be catering to a bigger Latin audience because they feel like there is a strong Latin presence for professional wrestling.
Yeah, they're the third biggest market in professional wrestling.
Right, so they're really going to try and focus on that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess it wouldn't surprise me if they put the strap on him because strap on.
I say, we're damned if we do, we're damned if we don't.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it'll be, I can't say I'm looking forward to it, but I'm.
Well, my thing is, do they make Kane a part-time champion like they do Lesnar?
I think you would have to for now, till he gets some more in-ring experience.
Well, he's been wrestling in AAA for like 6 months before he even came to WWE.
Regularly?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's been training with guys like, I hate saying Psycho Clown because I don't do clowns very well. That's one reason I don't. That's the reason I try to watch AAA.
Fuck your clown.
You're gonna, yeah. I'm like a Happy Gilmore. You're gonna die, clown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the in-ring style of AAA and CMLL, but all the goddamn clown characters make me just turn the channel.
Yeah, a buddy of mine is like that too. You show him a picture of a clown and he just can't fucking handle it. Then we had the main event, which was, to me, nothing special. Roman Reigns, Ali, and Shorty G against King Corbin, Cesaro, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Am I the only one that hates the new Shorty G outfit?
No, the blue and the green.
Yeah, like they turned him into a fucking joke already.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like the name. I don't like
the gear.
The idea. I like Chad Gable. I think he's a good wrestler, and I think he should have a brighter future than where he's at now. But yeah, I don't like the Shorty G.
Brian Alvarez hit the nail on the head. Fuck the fact that this guy's an Olympian.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to make a gimmick off of his height. And then you've cartooned it, his gimmick. That screams Vince's good shit all over it.
Of course. Absolutely. That's good shit. Well, regardless, what wasn't good shit was that match. I'm sorry. I mean, it was just okay. And Roman and Shorty G and Ali ended up winning the match.
Which leads me to believe either Roman wins it in A-Rap money, or
A-Rap money.
That, or Ali's taking a pin at A-Rap money. Because Ali got the pin over Corbin, wasn't it? Or Cesaro?
I don't remember.
It was the bald guy. That's all I remember.
You think they would let Ali take a pin over in Saudi Arabia?
I think they would because it's WWE, but I don't think the crowd will like it because he's brown.
Or maybe he will be the one going over.
He brown. That works. It's like that's the only reason I think we all know Mansoor is going over on Cesaro.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on from WWE.
Yeah.
But before we do, just real quick, Crown Jewel pay-per-view Thursday, October 31st, 1 o'clock.
Our time.
On WWE Network. We're not going to be doing any scorecards for that. Pro Wrestling Scorecards does not see that. They don't see fit for.
They don't see the A-Rap money.
Yeah, and I can't say that I blame them. So moving on to one of the highlights of the week for me, AW Dynamite on Wednesday.
Do you want to hit Dark and Power before we go to Dynamite?
Well, yeah, maybe we should. I didn't watch. Wait, no. Episode 2 of Dark? Yeah, I watched.
No, it was episode 3.
No, I see. I didn't watch episode 3. I didn't watch episode 3. Wait a minute. Which one did I fucking watch? I know I didn't watch the one with Omega and Janela in their
Lights Out
match. Yeah, I didn't see that.
Oh, so wait, this is week.
I think that was 2.
That was
because they're putting that week's AEW Dark on the following Tuesday.
Yeah. So you missed me too.
Yeah.
Too.
No, I'm not really so much worried about AEW Dark, but we can talk about Power.
Okay.
NWA Power, they were in their third episode this week on YouTube. Tuesday nights, 6:05. You can catch it anytime afterwards on YouTube. It's been a great show so far. I really enjoy the old school feel that you get from the graphics to the idea. No music, the studio audience. They have their promos at the podium. To me, it's mostly all working right now, and it's something that's very different from what I'm used to, and I like that.
And I like the fact that Tim Storm was they really highlighted Tim Storm this week.
Yeah. Tim Storm ended up in the main event with Eli Drake.
Yep,
right?
Drake.
Against the I'm still becoming familiar with the Dawsons. Yep. They ended up fighting
I think
the
a lot of us are just getting familiar with the Dawsons.
Mm-hmm.
The Dawsons, like, for me, when I first saw them, I'm like, who are these fucking goons?
Yeah.
And this week, it was like, okay, they're not just goons. They're actually like an old school heel type tag team.
Yeah.
They just yell. The only thing I don't like is they yell.
Yeah.
They yell promos.
Yeah, and that to me is a little. I don't really care for that either. But they are definitely heels. They definitely don't give a fuck. I thought the match was pretty solid. The kind of like cliffhanger ending when Nick Aldis ended up coming out, because ultimately Tim Storm took the pin, which apparently a lot of people were surprised at.
Well, like, this is Tim Storm has been wrestling for over 30-something years,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the first time he's get some major exposure is during the twilight of his career when he's winding down.
Well, in the two matches that he's had on Power, he's been pinned both times.
Yeah.
But Nick Aldis,
and Camille, I am falling in love with Camille.
Well, he came out to the aid of Tim Storm at the end of the match, and then they ended Power. So we don't know where that's going, and I kind of like that. It's like a show type deal, like, okay, what's going to happen next week type thing. I do like Camille too. So Nick Aldis has his,
valet
insurance policy, if you will, Camille, and Camille has not said a word. He clotheslined her in that first match against Tim Storm on the very first episode of Power. It was an accident, and they've been trying to get a word out of her ever since to find out what her thoughts are, et cetera, and she hasn't said shit. But it seems she's playing that off like that's, okay, well, you want me to talk? Well, I'm not going to fucking talk.
Yeah, the interview last week where she just goes, just stops.
Yeah. I do like that tandem. I like both of them. Nick Aldis, I do like Camille. I gotta say, yeah, she's very easy on the eyes. Is she a wrestler, or is she just a valet? Has she wrestled before?
I'm pretty sure. I start following her on Twitter and social media and other social medias, and she seems like, I think she is a wrestler as well.
Okay.
Because there's pictures of her in her ring gear, but I don't think I've seen any clips or anything of her actually wrestling.
So yeah, I do like them a lot. They also featured
Marty Bell, who was in the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, she was in the opening match,
yep.
Right? And she looked pretty good. That match was okay. I wasn't overly excited about it or anything, but
it seems like when it comes to the women division over there, it has the potential, but it still hasn't found its ground yet.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, it's still early for them, so I like that they keep it to one match, just to keep them featured, and
they need to find their footing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean overall, and then you had you saw a quick promo with Eddie Kingston.
Yeah.
I like him a lot. I like that character. I like where that's going.
He was actually on our show.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
And Joe and I brought that up last week.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, one of the realest guys out there. And my inner hood nigga came out when he was on the show. Because we got off, I was like, my nigga.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I could say. It was like, You made me feel at home on this show.
Well, you can tell that his character carries over from real life and crosses over to the show because that's him. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I...
It was like two real OG badass motherfuckers.
I like seeing that. I like to see these guys keep it real. You know what I mean? Show their personality because it makes their character more believable. While you're still obviously wanting to suspend your disbelief, but that realism is still there, you know?
I was like, you also get that with James Storm over there.
Yeah, James Storm kind of reminds me a little bit of Hangman, one of your favorites. But
actually, no, he reminds me more of a mixture of Austin, because like that whole country like it's like Austin meets Adam Page.
Yeah, I think just
like
his look. Yeah, that whole look.
No cowboy.
Yeah,
no,
cowboy shit.
But he is the cowboy. He is the cowboy, James motherfucking Storm.
But yeah, it was a good show. I like it's only an hour. I can definitely squeeze that in somewhere.
Throughout the week, anywhere.
And what is it, December 14th they have Into the
Fire?
That shit gets stuck in my head every time.
Rockin' with Dockin', as Joe said.
And then tire irons and waffles. Waffles and tire irons.
And Austin Idol's wrestling school.
That's a real school, though.
It is?
Yeah, from what I've read, that's a real school. I haven't gone to the website or anything like that, but from what I understand, that is.
But that's also an ATL. So
I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But
we may be going to from what I understand.
The rumor is, and I got to let Mikey know. I won't be able to go. There's just no way. A week or two before Christmas, and there's no way I'll be able to swing that. But a couple of the guys from Breaking Down the Ring are going to make the trip down to the ATL for that Into the Fire pay-per-view, and then a taping of NWA too. So I wish I could because, man, that would be a really good time and really cool to see. But
I said I'm making that my trip for my 30th, which is in about 2 weeks.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I'm glad you guys will get to go, but unfortunately I will not be able to make it. So yeah, definitely. Now the pay-per-view Into the Fire.
It's all about the kids.
It's going to be on Fight TV, right?
From what I understand, Fight TV and any traditional pay-per-view provider.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Be able to catch it on your on cable. Okay, so back to we'll go to AEW. Recap. AEW was another solid show. Lucha Brothers opened things up, defeating Private Party.
And it was amazing. I couldn't take my eyes off of it.
Yeah, that was a really good match. I really like the Lucha Brothers a lot.
And I love the fact that they're actually let them be heels, even though they're over as shit.
Right. I like Private Party a lot too, but yeah, the match overall was fantastic.
The Lucha Bros are heel as fuck right now, and they're doing a good job at it.
They picked up the win. They're going to be in the finals of the World Tag Team Championships for AEW against the winner of SCU and Dark Order. SCU ended up getting the win.
Can I just take this moment to say how much I love watching Scorpio Sky?
Yeah, and you know what? He wasn't featured as much in this match as he was the previous week. Maybe I'm wrong, is my opinion.
I think they highlight Kazarian more this match, but the spots that Sky was in were those are the spots that it was a highlight reel. Yeah. The man is a human highlight reel.
I like that they're pushing him and SCU, and then this leads to a match for the championship between SCU and Lucha Brothers, who many expected, especially once the Young Bucks were eliminated.
So they also announced on AEW's social media that the AEW tag titles will be presented by the current NWA tag team champions, who are the Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah. Yep. And WWE Hall of Famers as well.
Yep.
So I'm sure Vince just loves that.
No, that's some good shit.
We also saw the Inner Circle.
Obviously, that was a little bit of a down because, throughout the great match that was SCU versus Dark Order, the Inner Circle stuff kind of took away from it.
Yeah, and that's my thing. They're trying to really put over teams like SCU, the Dark Order, more so the Dark Order at this point because people really haven't seen them on TV at all other than the pay-per-view. So yeah, you're kind of taking that.
And they've been on AEW Dark one. months.
Yeah, you're kind of taking that away. The heat that you're trying to get for them, taking that out of the equation. Yeah. But the match was another good match. I'm not a big fan of the Dark Order's gimmick, but they can work in the ring. Evil Uno's solid. He can move for a big dude.
Well, you see a lot of that. Like we were talking about this last week. There's a lot of guys big dudes out there that move like cruiserweights. We talked about Dijakovic. We talked about Keith Lee. Mm-hmm. There's also guys like Brian Cage, AC Romero, Mike Elgin. These are bigger guys that move for Willie Mack. Like these guys move like they should be on 205 Live. Yeah. But these guys are literally 250 plus.
Yeah, they and it's cool to see, and I hope that it doesn't lead to more injuries for dudes like that because of their size. But it is cool to see, and something that you really haven't seen a whole lot of in the past. So
they're shattering the glass ceiling stereotype of a big man in this industry.
Right, and I'm fine with that. Totally fine with that. Speaking of shattering the glass, you had Cody come out to do a quick interview
with Tony Schiavone.
With Mr. Schiavone. And all the while, you had the Inner Circle up in there.
Skybox.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a suite. It was more of a box.
Like Skybox.
So then Cody, he's down there, and I thought it was really funny when they were blowing their little fog horns, their little air horns to keep interrupting him. That was great. Then he made his way to the barricade, and they were like, well, there's 4 of us, and there's only 1 of you.
And then Green Day hits.
Then, seriously, and I didn't notice that until somebody pointed out, and then when he was coming out, and all I could hear was fucking brain stew. Didn't. And now that's all I'll ever hear when that fucker comes down. So you had Dustin Rhodes coming down.
Oh, your big brother coming to save you, little Cody Wody.
Yep. And then you had Maxwell Jacob Friedman and DDP.
And the crowd popped so hard for Paige.
And so these 4, they're marching up the stairs going towards this skybox, and Jericho and his crew in the Inner Circle
locked the door.
Minus Jake Hager because he was busy doing some Bellator stuff.
He's got a Bellator fight this week, actually.
Actually, I got news on that.
What?
Well, I'll get to that. So they make it up there, and Cody puts MJF's scarf over his hand and punches through the glass. Looked like some of that hit Jericho in the face. I didn't see him bleeding or anything, but it looked cool. So then they proceeded to get into a brawl out in the crowd, like on the concourse. And
why the Dippin' Dots, though?
Yeah, that's I said that too, and I'm like, no, not the Dippin' Dots. And the next thing is
Jim Ross.
JR. He's like, no, not the Dippin' Dots. I was like, fucking great.
Commentary was a million times better this week, though.
It was, yeah. So that spot was cool, and that's obviously doing some build up for Full Gear between Cody and Jericho. So
on Le Champion's birthday as well.
Le Champion.
Scorpio season. What's up, Jay? Y2J? Jericho? Whatever you want to call yourself. Painmaker.
Next, we had Omega and Joey Janela in a rematch from their Lights Out match on AEW Dark a couple weeks ago.
It was coming out for Janela because anybody who's watched know anything about Joey Janela. Joey Janela's known as one of those deathmatch guys.
Right.
This is a coming out saying, no, I don't just do death matches. I can actually wrestle.
And he could. It was a good match. They've got, not great chemistry, but they look really good in the ring. I do need to go back and watch that Lights Out match because they showed a few clips from it, and it looked pretty good.
But that's kind of like that's what Joey Janela's specialty is, stuff like that.
Yeah,
like this is me seeing Joey Janela finally in a match. It's him coming out and saying, "Fuck respect, fuck everything. I can wrestle."
Yeah. Well, and you saw Omega give him props, at the end of the match, and
that V trigger he hit toward the end of the match.
Yeah,
he laid that one in.
Yes.
That V trigger knee, people talk about, people talk about Roman Reigns' Superman punch, but Omega does that V trigger all the time. But look at the V trigger he put those V triggers he laid into Janela.
He laid his ass out with that. So yeah, it was a really good match. I like the fact that Omega went over because he's been hovering that 500 mark. And
Well, I think that's what they want for him right now.
yeah, he really couldn't take a loss going into his match at Full Gear against Moxley. So then the crowd loved both guys. I mean, they're really behind Janela. They're behind Omega.
Like, this was Janela's coming out party.
Yep. So hopefully they do more with his character coming up, and I think they will. We did see the Young Bucks and the Best Friends with
Orange
freshly squeezed in their corner.
Once again, one of the most over guys in the company. It doesn't do shit, really.
Right, and I've seen a couple of his matches, and he's more of a comedy type thing.
But I think he can go if you actually watch him. You
Yeah.
can watch his matches.
He really can. And the fact that he can do it with his hands in his pockets, I'm just saying, proves what an athlete he is. Because you see these guys, and they need to hold their balance and keep their own body going
Or at
in the
least
right direction.
or at least touch the rope to keep some type of...
Yeah, and that's not a knock
equilibrium.
on anybody, but the fact that he can do it with his hands in his pockets just show that he really is a superb athlete. And I'm really excited to see more from him, even if it is tickle butt. I can deal with some tickle butt. I like a little tickle butt from now and then. Like I said earlier in the show, $20 is $20.
I've actually sold AEW to several people via Orange Cassidy.
Yeah. And there was a kid last week, I think, that was dressed as Orange Cassidy in the front row. Cody pulled him into the ring and had
And
him
it was after AEW Dark went off.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I like that character a lot. The match itself, that was a really good match. I think the Best Friends are looking better and better the more they get in the ring that I've,
like, this is nothing new for Beretta, for Trent. For Chuck Taylor, this is more of a new thing for him. Beretta's been through the WWE system before, so he knows about being on live television.
That's what I hear, yeah.
Chuck T is the one. He's done Ring of Honor and he's done New Japan. This is like his first time being on a major platform. That's a lot. There's a lot of these guys and girls in AEW.
Yeah.
You have people who's been through the system of WWE or Impact and have actually been on a large platform. But then you got guys like Chuck Taylor. You got guys like Dark Order. You got people like Rio who are literally, this is their first time on American television, and they're on a major network.
Yep.
So the pressure's on. I was like, the pressure's on a lot of these people.
Well, and you can tell, and they're definitely giving it their all. The matches, some of them have a couple sloppy moments. I'm okay with that. Not everything needs to be perfect and completely clean. I think that's what gives it character. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, in a real fight, if you slip and you were fighting in a ring and you slipped, it's fucking gonna happen. So the fact that shit like that does happen from time to time, or they need that extra push to get a guy over in a suplex or whatever, I'm fine with that. So yeah, I mean, overall, another solid match that they had on Dynamite. Young Bucks did end up going over in that one,
And they accepted the challenge from Pride and Powerful. I hate that name.
I'm not a fan either. Yeah,
It is not. It is more so a knockout. Like, it doesn't, like, I've known them as LEX their entire career, but the Pride and Powerful thing, it just sounds like a gay rights activist group.
yeah. There was a lot of other options they could have.
You could have went with.
Joe had mentioned last week, you know.
The Latin American experience.
Yeah, I'd have been fine with that, but Pride and Powerful. Yeah.
And then their intro is so fucking annoying too.
Yes, I
If I
mentioned that
wasn't
last
proud, I can't be powerful.
week, and just repeating that over and over. And that's one thing I feel, just me personally, you got to have some entrance music that sticks in my head.
Damn it.
Yes, and fucking fine. Lacey Evans, I can't even understand why, but her entrance music gets stuck in my head every fucking
And it
time.
makes no sense. Look up the lyrics.
Yeah.
Her intro makes no sense.
It makes me fucking nuts, but I like those characters that have that entrance music because then I'm going to remember them. You know what I mean? And yeah, okay, I'll remember Pride and Powerful and who they are for what they've been in the business, but I'm also really fucking annoyed with your entrance music too. So we did have a women's match with Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. This match, it was pretty physical. Britt Baker looked better in this match to me than she has in her previous matches for AEW.
My biggest problem with her, she does not sell.
No, she doesn't. I definitely will give you that. And I don't understand why. Like, she's going to get over, and she's getting over in a sense. So
she's probably the most over woman on the roster right now.
Yeah. I liked Jamie Hayter. I thought she looked pretty good, too.
So this is one thing I missed was after the match. Why did Brandy attack Hayter?
Thank you. That was my next thing, is that, to me, the heat that Hayter got from that match as a heel, you just pretty much threw out the window when Brandy fucking attacked her for apparently no reason. There's no explanation. Nobody knows why.
Okay, so it's not just me. I was kind of turning. I kind of turned my head, and all I see is Brandy Rhodes pretty much knocking the shit out of Hayter.
I know shit happens without any explanation until later. I get that, but to me, it was just kind of like you just kind of killed what you had going for Hayter as a heel.
And Baker was probably the most over she's been, like super over.
Yeah, well, she
Pittsburgh.
was. Yeah, in Schittsburg, as Jericho liked to call it. So yeah, I mean the match was pretty good. I didn't like afterwards with that Brandy thing. That made, to me, it made no sense. And maybe it'll make more sense next week. I don't know, but right now I'm like, what?
But I do like the fact that they've kept Brandy off of, well, outside of being at Cody's side, they pretty much kept her off of television now, and let the women highlight themselves without her.
We did also have in the main event Moxley and Pac.
A draw.
The match started out with Moxley coming down the aisle, getting hit in the back of the head with the chair from Pac. Pac proceeded to kick his ass for quite some time.
And then threw him back in the ring.
But yes, this match ended in a draw. And to be honest, tell me how you felt about it first.
I felt it was the perfect way to protect both guys going into Full Gear. I think Pac's got a match. I think Pac doesn't have a match in Full Gear right now, but Pac is one of the few people that's still undefeated, technically, in singles competition. It was a good way to keep both of these guys protected. And they had a solid match.
Yeah.
Obviously, they have good chemistry.
I think I didn't have a problem with it ending in a draw.
No, I didn't have any problem with it ending in a draw. It was the perfect way to protect both guys.
You're making it clear that you have time limits on every match. It is always
TV
set.
time. They said with television time remaining,
and at every other match with a 15-minute time limit,
20.
hour, whatever. So you're setting the precedence that there's a time limit. You're creating a sense of urgency that there's a time limit, and they reach that time limit.
And also on AEW social media, Jon Moxley has been reprimanded for putting his hands on an AEW official.
Oh, okay. Yeah, he did attack the official at the end of the match, and I thought the match overall was good. I didn't have a problem with it. I like where you're going, that it makes, keeps both guys looking strong going into the pay-per-view. Pac is still undefeated. Some of the internet wrestling community disagreed. Some of these dudes that are anti-AEW, of course. Well, you guys didn't like the ending of the Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins and fucking Fiend and blah, blah, blah. That is something completely and totally fucking different. So fuck you. I'm just saying, they told you there is a time limit with this match. Fucking period.
They gave you a full-blown explanation.
Right.
So what I really think is going to happen with this now is they're going to have a lights out. Pac and Mox are going to have a lights out within the next couple of weeks on Dark.
But you think so? Before Full Gear?
Maybe after.
And then after. Well, because then if it's lights out, it won't count towards their record at all.
And they can actually have a knockout brawl, thing like they started to have toward the beginning and end of that match.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know. I don't know.
No matter who does the job, nobody's hurt.
But now you got Hangman in the mix too, because he came out and kind of got in Pac's face a little bit.
So I think that's what we see at Full Gear.
Yeah,
we get to see Paige versus Pac.
And that ended the night. They kept things going after the cameras turned off Friday night AEW replayed Dynamite to run concurrent with SmackDown. And they had an extra 5 minutes, which included Moxley in the ring getting beaten up by Pac again. And Kenny Omega came to his rescue, if you will, because
I want you 100%.
Yes.
Type deal. Yeah.
Yep. And then that's when we ended up seeing Hangman come out. He kind of scared Pac off a little bit, got in the ring, called Pac out. Pac ran into the crowd and said, he wants a match. And so
we're either going to get that next week or at Full Gear.
Yeah. So that's where that was. Overall, AEW put on another really good show. I don't have the ratings in front of me for any of these shows this week. I do know
AEW is a little bit under 1 million, and
I know NXT was only 750,000 at 750 and some change thousand viewers.
Yeah, AEW was a little bit under 1 million this week. They are losing viewers, but I think that's because the allure of it being new is just starting to fade away.
That's starting to fade away. People are. I feel like with a lot of those new people that we're watching, they're not those type of fans like me and you and the other guys on the show that are going to invest themselves every single week. That's, again, just my opinion. And that's a little sad for not only for AEW, but for wrestling as a whole.
This is the perfect time to be a fan with so much.
It really is.
Because we do, like I said last week, because we do this, it's oversaturation for us.
Yeah.
But for the casual fan, you can pick and choose.
Right. Don't watch WWE if you don't want to. Be that one guy that only watches AEW or watches AEW in Power, or I don't watch any of it. I just watch Impact or whatever. But now you have that opportunity. Because let's face it, like I said earlier on the show, I'm bored with anything WWE is putting out with the exception of NXT. If they got rid of Raw and SmackDown today, it wouldn't fucking bother me one bit and just left NXT as it is.
And in NXT, you can start seeing the influence of main rosterization, I want to call it.
A little, and hopefully they don't get carried away with that. We only got a few minutes left. I do want to touch on, you had mentioned Jake Hager and having a Bellator fight. He actually had that fight this weekend. Okay. And the fight was ended in a no decision because he kneed his opponent in the nuts like 3 or 4 times in the first round.
Oh. Yeah,
so the ref stopped the fight. Like I said,
DQ?
Nope, it just ended in a no contest. So with that, he was set. What I see, I did a little bit of research on it. He hit multiple knee strikes in his opponent Garrett's groin, so the referee did stop the fight. Jake Hager went on to his Twitter later on and was talking about how he wasn't thrilled with the result, and he's just not happy with that. He called out his opponent for not having any balls to begin with, so how can I knee him in the balls if he doesn't have any? And don't quote me on that. That's just kind of like a synopsis of what his tweet said, but
yeah.
So
you got no dick me to hit.
It'll be interesting to see how they might spin that in AEW.
Finally give him a mic.
We'll see.
Okay, you know why they gave him Zeb Coulter in WWE? He has a heavy lisp. He really does have a heavy lisp.
Okay.
When he talks, he sounds like Daffy Duck at times.
So we may not see him with a mic very often, which, whatever. Apparently that's a thing now.
How about no, I think you will. Because I think the one thing AEW has been doing is they highlight the stronger aspects to lots of these characters.
Yeah.
Like some people may not be best in the ring, but they are great personalities. Like John Moxley is not the best in-ring worker. He's gotten a lot better since his stint in Japan.
Right.
But he's more of a character. And they pretty much highlight him being a character more than a wrestler. Pac, not the best on the microphone, but a phenomenal in-ring worker.
Right. They let their in-ring work speak for themselves.
That is you let your character speak, you let your in-ring work speak, and if you're a complete package like somebody like the Bucks, who are great in the ring and great promo guys.
Yep.
You let the work like Cody, great in-ring worker, great promo guy, and he has a lisp.
Yeah, it's a little one, not super.
It's not heavy. He doesn't have a heavy lisp.
Right.
That's why he speaks slow.
Yeah. Now, one of the other bigger stories this week, too, and there was something else I wanted to talk about, but I think we're just going to leave it at this. The glitch. Hashtag fix WWE 2K20. For those of you who are unaware, WWE released their annual video game this week. And
it's already on recall.
It is on a massive fucking recall. People are getting refunds left and right because the game just fucking sucked a fat one. Lots of glitches. Some people's game didn't even work. They couldn't. The download failed. The download worked, but then the game, El Nas purchased the game, and it gave him like a brief demo mode with only a few wrestlers to choose from.
Yeah, my cousin got it, and he said his completely crashed like 30 minutes in.
Really? If you go online, you can definitely check out Twitter, and there's a lot of interesting videos. There was one where it looked like Charlotte had the referee's face in her crotch while she was giving the figure eight, and it looked very intriguing for sure, very risque.
Yeah, it looks like some dick beat material.
Somebody was on the side of the ropes, and they were flickering really bad.
Yeah, it was Dakota Kai in the ring. I think it was who was it on the apron? Was it Bailey?
It might have been Bailey.
And people have been dubbing some of these now too, which has been hilarious.
PC Mag from PC Magazine, they said wrestlers with no faces, players getting stuck inside the ring ropes. Every bout is plagued with a new, silly, potentially game-ruining bug. The publisher of 2K, which is Ukes, I think, right?
No, they're under the same brand as the NBA 2K now. Then are they still under Ukes?
The game developer, I think, was Ukes.
It was still Ukes. Ukes, you'd have fucked up.
They know it, and in a tweet last night, they said they're listening closely to the feedback and preparing an initial patch to release within the next 2 weeks. So hopefully that may solve some of the problems that they're having with this game. But in addition to that, people like our own Mikey, who purchased the special edition,
the
Smackdown version, ended up getting an autograph trading card from Edge inside the package. He sent us a picture, autograph, cool. Some people didn't get the card autographed. They just got the card. Some people didn't even get the fucking card at all. So
WWE's fucking up their own games now, huh?
Yeah. So Edge obviously finds out about this, and he responded with a tweet, and he had said, lame. Seems like it happened to a few other people too. Someone dropped the ball. I'm filming a movie for the next month, but when I get home, I'll get a PO box. Everyone who didn't get one signed, I'll follow you on here, give you the address, and you can send it to me to sign. So obviously he's not taking responsibility for it, because how could he? But
he is trying to rectify it.
It's nice that he's trying to rectify the situation, even though that had nothing really to do with him. He doesn't, a lot of people nowadays will just turn their back and be like, well, someone else will fix it. But he's trying to make it right with the fans, and that I can definitely appreciate.
Yeah, stand-up guy that will sleep with your wife.
So if you did get WWE 2K20, hopefully yours works in full. Doubtful, but hopefully it does. And if not, expect a patch, hopefully in the next couple weeks.
I always wait a month after the game comes out to get it anyway.
I don't know if I've ever really heard anything this bad, though, with a game.
Well, yeah, I always when it comes to new games, I wait usually a month after they come out, because most of the time there's always a bug or a small bug somewhere or a glitch somewhere. So I wait like a month usually after the game comes out before I purchase.
I don't know. And leading up to it, you did see a lot of videos that were showing fairly shitty graphics, like.
Oh yeah, like
of characters.
The 2K was 2K on their official. I think it was their Twitter. They showed the NBA 2K graphics compared to the WWE 2K graphics.
Yeah,
and it's a world's difference.
I don't know. I personally won't be buying the game. I've gotten the last 3, and I didn't play them as much as I wanted to. And based on this, that's a no for me, dog.
I will. I'm still like, And I'm going to get a hard copy because I'm not into the whole digital gaming thing for some reason.
Well, even just with the glitches, and I know that they'll eventually have that fixed. I get all that, but that puts a bad taste in my mouth, and then you have the graphics issue that makes it even worse. I'm going to have to pass, which sucks because from what I hear, like if you get down to it and you have the game working in full order, the gameplay is fantastic. And I've seen some videos and you like of the game working properly, and it does. It looks really nice. But I just can't get past the initial release issues and additional shit that's apparently going wrong.
John Cena being on the game, the Invisible Man, the Invisible Cunt.
Invisible Cunt.
Well, if it ain't the Invisible Cunt.
I think that's it, though. I think we're done. We've recapped the whole week in wrestling. We talked about the issues with the video game. This week, got the pay-per-view on Thursday. Mikey will be back next week as the Lions do not have a home game. So he'll be back hosting this shit, and I will be back on the panel.
Shucky ducky quack quack.
I do want to remind everybody that November 24th, Breaking Down the Ring is having their Survivor Series fucking blowout in downtown Detroit at Buffalo Wild Wings on Randolph Street, 6 o'clock. Get there. We've got giveaways. We're going to be doing pro wrestling scorecards.
You can see our pretty faces.
We'll all be there. All of our pretty faces, with the exception of Smitty, will be driving people away, so we'll make sure that he's wearing a mask. I'm hoping for the first public appearance of Nazd. Will we see him? Will we not? I don't know. So, but yeah, we'll be down there.
We can put a paper bag over his head then.
Over the mask?
Yeah, it's double ugly.
We're going to be giving away Smitty's meats, too, all night long, every half hour. So,
because I'm a giant whore.
And that's what he does. He's a whore. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Next week, hopefully, we'll have a bigger crew. Obviously, Mikey will be here. So, until then, we are your ring crew.
Big Dick Schmidt.
And I'm Little Tit Nick. And we are out.